What are you doing?
I'm studying my history,
Yeah,
sipping some Irish breakfast tea.
you're welcome. What's the plan here today?
Well, the plan is to take out the fuel tank, see how bad or good it is. Amazingly good is what I expect. And then we're gonna take out the engine, and we're going to figure out what year the engine and the trams are, which is very exciting.
Have a better look at the underside and try to make an informed decision as to what needs to be done.
Yeah, so I want to go through the whole thing and make a list of what needs to be done. There is some interesting history on the car, which is what I was reading up on. To share, we found some fancy things, not fancy things.
Yeah. Do you still want to try to dig out the other Semaphore?
Yes, and that was the last thing I was going to say, is that I have put on my archaeologist hat and excavated the driver's side Semaphore, but I'd really like to free up the passenger side Semaphore and see if it also is in as good a shape as the other one and will still pivot out and everything. It's in really good shape.
It looks like it got fucked by a train.
Your mom looks like she got...
Wow, that's... Thank God she doesn't watch this.
No, look at this. So it's really interesting. So like, this was completely mushed in with Bondo. So that's why it's all bowed in like this and pitted. But it's still, the mechanism in here still works.
Well.
Very well.
It
very
moves.
smooth.
It doesn't mean it works.
That's what I mean by working is that it moves.
All right. Okay.
It moves.
Thank you for the
And it's not even rusted.
Well, it was covered in Banda.
Exactly. And you can see some of it did rust, but this is and I found the original light bulb and stuff.
So are we thinking that these Semaphores were never used?
We'll get to that later. No spoilers.
All right. Fine. So what did you find that makes this car so much better than everything I own, aside from the Semaphores?
Aside from the Semaphores,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, so we were looking to see the number on the car, and interestingly enough, we noticed it's got these big goofy screws, which seemed odd, and then we noticed this tag right here, which is an AMAG Lauf number. I don't know if I should keep...
I mean, you can. 89240.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lauf number is the run number. And so Taylor thought, having never seen this, that it was some kind of weird bullshit that somebody put on it. I'm paraphrasing.
Oh, I think that was pretty accurate to...
Yeah. So I started doing research on this naturally at like midnight, and then fell down a rabbit hole on the internet. But it turns out that AMAG is a long-running Swiss auto import company, which was really important, had an important relationship with Volkswagen. So I want to say, like in the mid-40s, around 1945, this company, the Swiss auto import company, was started. So they have a history with the first Headmuller Beetles, and when I started finding things that were like the Headmuller story, AMAG, which stands for Automobil und Motoren AG. I don't know what the AG stands for at the end. But I started getting really excited because there's this history of coach-built cars in Switzerland around this era, in the 40s and the 50s. And I found some really cool resources. There's actually a Swiss database that has like every known coach-built car in Switzerland. Well, fast forward, spoiler alert, this is not a very fancy coach-built AMAG Beetle.
Yeah, don't fucking say.
Yeah, but they did make Ghias. There are a small number of rare Ghias, and they actually, like on the nose of the car, the Volkswagen emblem has made in Switzerland around it. And those are big money, but that's not what we have. So, I want to say it was like 350,000 Beetles were imported through Switzerland. So they were imported directly from Wolfsburg to Switzerland, and then distributed from there. And AMEG still exists today, so you can still purchase a car through them. I guess they started with British cars, importing them to Switzerland. Yeah, so this car is obviously a Euro spec car. It's got the Semaphores. It's got this proof that it was imported directly from Germany to Switzerland. And it's got the fenders with some late directionals here on it. So something fishy's going on. But this car became a little bit more interesting because those Semaphores are bondoed over. And this car, we looked up the serial number and we found out that it was manufactured, I believe, in September of 1958, making it a 1959 model. And in my research, in 1958 and into 59, the demand for Beetles in the United States was so great that it was like over a year wait to import it through a dealership. So my thought, I have a couple of theories, but my foremost theory is that this car imported by AMEG into Switzerland, and someone didn't want to wait a year in the US and had to have a Beetle. So I think that they bought it directly from Switzerland instead of going through a dealership in the US. And I'm not sure, maybe those Semaphores were bondoed over when it arrived here. I don't know, but it's an interesting story. One of the other theories, and I've seen this on forums, is that servicemen who were stationed in Europe were able to import cars to their base where they served and then bring it back over to the US. Again, I don't necessarily think that's the case because it has an AMAG tag in it, so I think obviously it was imported into Switzerland and then brought to the US. It also could have been a tourist vehicle, so a popular method of getting a Beetle, like going to Europe and touring around and then going, you know what, I'll take the car home. Sounds so nice, right? I don't necessarily think that's the case either because those kinds of tourist programs are happening out of Wolfsburg, not out of Switzerland. So I think it was somebody who just had to have their car, and it came from Switzerland.
Yeah, and it got federalized when it came here, and that's why the Semaphores were bonded over, and later. It's just weird to me that it's got the big 64 to 66 style directionals on it.
Well, we found from poking around that there's evidence that this car was hit on the driver's side fender.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So these fenders, I don't know. There's a way to.
Yeah, I don't know if there is a way to
precisely date them, but we suspected that maybe these at least this fender, and then maybe that one matched, that these were later because there was a hit.
Yeah.
A minor hit on the front of the car.
Yeah, but they're still solid German fenders. Like they're not flimsy aftermarket units. They're pretty stout.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what's first then? You pulling the tank?
Yeah. Let's pull the tank.
Okay. Well, then while you're doing that, I'm going to pull the deck lid so that we don't completely ruin the rotted out hinges on that.
And I'm going to do one of the hinges.
Okay.
As we discussed.
As we discussed, per my last email. Don't lose your nuts.
Yeah. Okay.
And just put that anywhere. Let's see what we can see in here. All right, so there's your cap.
Oh, this
that big, that cylinder there. Mm-hmm. Oh, it looks like the fuel line isn't attached. That's interesting.
That's the cotter pin you're talking about, yeah?
Well, yeah, that's the cotter pin that I was talking about.
Oh, and this is where the fuel line would be attached.
Yeah, it should be. So it's interesting that there's no line.
Is this the? Oh my god! I feel like
can't see.
Well, there's a.
What?
This little business right here, is that the?
That should be the body line, yeah. Little business. Oh, I can't see. All your fucking hair's in the way. Yeah, that's the body line.
What is the body line?
The body line, so that's the hard line that runs through the tunnel, the inside of the tunnel, all the way to the back to get fuel to the engine.
It's such a tiny diameter.
Yeah, well, it's
Verklish.
So It looks like you're not going to have to undo any fuel line, which is interesting. So if you just take that cotter pin out there and push the tap lever through the firewall, we can do the undo the bolts upstairs and take the tank out.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to grab the wood there.
Wires. You're just gonna tear it.
Yeah.
Like a heartless monster.
I'm very familiar with my work.
Oh, it's so tiny. It's so tiny. Oh, and it's so full of gross old fuel. Okay, so now the fuel tank's out. I mentioned before that there was evidence that the car had been hit on the driver's side fender area. And where did my light go?
Oh, I think I stole it again.
Okay, so we discovered something really interesting, that this car has been hit, not just from this front side, but there's also evidence it was hit over here. So Taylor pointed out that things were real crunchy over here. And then upon further inspection, there is some shitty repair work here, and some welding going on there and over here. And so we're wondering, because the tags on the body match the chassis, so either somebody like went to great lengths to move the tags on a new piece of metal, which they probably didn't, or they took this bit out so they could like straighten out what was going on in here.
You did a real shitty job of it.
Yeah, somebody wasn't very invested in this car, that's right. But it's loved now.
Wait until the bill for the body metal comes.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all, there's holes, but I think it's all fairly easy.
Yeah, I'm actually happy with how this looks in here.
Yeah. Yeah, once we have the body off, we can wire wheel all this and paint it. And...
Yeah, this isn't terrifying. This isn't the terrifying bit.
What is the terrifying bit?
Your face.
Wow.
Great.
What are you doing?
I'm writing down the number off of V-Trans.
Why?
Because we know it's not original and we want to tell what year it is.
Right.
So yeah. Nice big numbers. They're actually more legible than I expected them to be.
Yeah. I mean, overall, this really is not that fucking bad. You know, there's a little bit of patching that we need to do on the rear bumper mounts in here. I think both sides are like that.
Yeah, I noticed that.
You know, but it's not too bad.
You know, the funny thing about this is that I was going to buy that Volvo Amazon because it was like, it had some rocker work to be done. And I was like, that's too rusty for me. Let me get a Volkswagen.
I mean, to be fair, this was cheaper.
Yeah.
To buy.
Yes, this is cheaper.
But probably more expensive to fix.
Well,
but
this is more the learning opportunity I wanted, right?
Yeah.
So not only do I get to do metal work and mechanical work and
electrical
wiring,
work and body work.
Yeah.
And interior work.
Yeah, truly. I mean, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
This is obviously not a car that's like going to be ready to drive anytime soon. This is what I wanted, was to spend my time learning these things, and then the bonus at the end of the journey is to have a car that I can drive. So
right. And it's cool as fuck.
It is cooler than.
Shut the fuck up. You know, but there's just like a lot of like weird little small fucking rot holes.
Talking about the car?
Talking about your ass. The underside of this driver's channel is fucking roached, but the inside really doesn't look that bad. So if we can patch the top, I think they make bottom sill plates, so we might actually be able to do that. Obviously the pans are completely fucked.
What do you mean?
Put some wood over that, it'll be fine. It'll buff. I fucking hate that so much. You know, and there's obviously the typical in the front things as well. Oh, so I know I already said this to you off camera, but I got excited about remembering it again. I think these are the original fenders because they have the metal tubes for the wiring that go into the buckets. This being a 59 would have had the little peanuts like Ben's car, and I'm pretty sure that is the same footprint as the big turn signals. So it might have just been updated because it's got.
Is it possible that they cut the hole to add the directionals? Why would it have a Semaphores and the?
Because it was federalized when it got here. We weren't allowed to run those here.
No, I know that, but I'm saying like. Did they cut the holes in Switzerland?
No. I think it would have been done here at the port.
Okay. Yes. What I'm trying to get at is it didn't roll out of the factory with the directionals.
With these, with the updated signals, you're saying?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
This is what you and Ben do.
Yeah.
Is argue
about saying the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Great, glad I can be part of that.
Yeah, it's a good time. We gotta find you some snowflakes.
I know.
I'll be your snowflake anytime.
You already are.
So Rachel's trying to get these bottom nuts out. And hard to get a bite on them because the trans mounts are compacted and pushing past the nut. So, there you go.
Something moved.
Something moved. You probably snapped the stud in the case. Good job. Once we get those out, we'll lower it and remove the harness and everything. Get the top 2 bolts, get this disgusting engine out. Run the numbers on that and the trans and see what we got for years.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, because this needs to come. Yeah. Anything that's coming from the engine and going into the car needs to be.
And this slides out, no?
Yep. That's just a regular. There you go. So Rachel's undoing the harness. I'm gonna try to rotate the distributor body to get it clear of the body so we can get the engine out. So I'm gonna start wailing on stuff. Okay.
People can see it, they don't.
I hope that was on in frame. That's how you fucking laugh. So what'd you find?
I found that my transmission is from November of 62 and my engine is from April of 62. So Taylor had the bright idea that perhaps someone updated my car working with a parts car from 1962.
It's possible.
It is quite possible.
Yeah. I wonder if they actually did use a bus nose cone on it. I mean, it looks like the engine's sitting at the right pitch and everything, and I don't even think that the trans would go in without that nose cone. So they must have done that to put a late transmission in an early pan.
I just want to know if the bus nose cone can hold ice cream. Oh my god. Alright.
Fucking limber up, Rocky.
Yeah, I know. Can I put my leg on the other side of this?
You know, it's fine.
Unrecommended. No, I do that all the time. Just OSHA approved.
OSHA does not approve of anything. There you go. That's coming. Alright, so wait a second here. So
shit on the floor earlier.
It's my fucking shop. I got one. That's one. Get the cover up. No, shoehorning is when you're putting something in.
No, I know. It was a joke.
Was it? Was it a joke, Margaret? Ow! Ow!
Weird hair there.
So, if you recall, I couldn't remember if they'd used the right nose cone on this, because
Right.
you need to put a full synchro box in. You need
In
a bus,
today's world,
a bus nose cone,
bus nose cone.
a bus nose cone. But
AKA
while I was
bowl of ice cream.
right, while I was down here helping you with the starter bolt, you see how these holes are not being used.
Yes.
They re-drilled them
Ooh.
and lowered this.
Now, do you think that reduces the structural
Yes.
soundness?
Yes, yes I do.
So I'm going to do the bus nose cone
Yep.
situation.
Yeah, so you'll have to change the nose cone and the hockey stick. You don't have to speak it out loud. I just think it's comical that in about half an hour we got to, what, 4 pages?
Are my
3
tears
pages?
dry yet?
I don't think so. There you go. So we took some time and made a list of things that need to
3
be...
pages.
Oh, whatever, but they're 3 full pages and you doubled up on some of them columns. And there's... I think this is only going to grow, but it's here. So...
It will grow as my love for the car will.
hopefully, and your disdain for me. So what are we doing now?
I'm going to excavate the other semaphore, and Taylor is going to remove the disgusting faux wood grain off of the dash, which is also primed in gross black paint.
Yeah. Do you want me to see if we can get through to the original paint? So we can actually figure out what fucking color this thing
Well, I
is.
think we figured it out. What
Did
color
we?
it was.
I can't remember what it was. Oh, were we thinking it was mignonette?
So this car is really hard to figure out what color it is because, as you can see, it's got a wee bit of patina, and it's also been at least 2 different blues, and the interior's been sprayed black. But it's interesting because there's parts on the firewall that we believe are mignonette green.
We got a little bit of paint off the dash. We're thinking it's mignonette green. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Sally Sassy Pants over here did some excavations.
We have a second semaphore. Oh, great, now that I say that, it's not going to come out. Stand by. Got like a pile of 1,000 dead stink bug bodies that came out of here. So weird. There we go. Yeah, it was that lens. So this one has more of a lens than the other one did. The other side, the plastic lens was shattered. This bit has rotted away. And there was a clip that goes in like this, which is intact on the other side. And then something that broke on the other side but was intact on this one was the light bulb, and it's pretty cool. You can see where the glass tube was pinched and the bulb was made. But I think I'm gonna do a little bit more research on like what the mechanics of the little hinge look like, because it's being caught on something. This one is in worse shape than the other side.
Might be easier to just take the thing out of the jam.
What do you mean?
I mean, remove the whole thing out of the jam. It's only screwed in.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, I mean, there's a screw right here where the wires are. Oh, there's the big
Yeah,
screw.
then there's that big one on the bottom, and I think it just hooks in at the top. So if you take that out, it should pull out,
Yeah.
and it might be
Yep.
easy to look at it then.
Yep.
You want to try?
I don't want to fuck any more up today.
You don't. Wait, what did you fuck up? Somebody else fucking ball
I
peened
don't
that
know.
and crammed it full of shit.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like such a bummer that it's all bleh.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you could probably
even
plane that out.
like on the side, like this was bonded over because some asshole just like
Yep.
did something. So,
Yeah.
but it has a semaphore.
It has semaphores. It was a productive day.
It was a productive day.
So what's next then?
What's next? Well, I'm probably going to rob a bank. I have to.
All right, we're gonna cut that out.
I I have to get an engine stand so I can put that engine up so I can start fiddling around with it so that as I take it apart, I can get an idea of what I want to build because that engine is not going to work. So I'm gonna remove wiring from the car. There's some interior stuff that I need to clean up. The tunnel is covered in like weird old material and it's full of trash. Somebody cut a hole in the tunnel to do God knows what. So yeah. Oh, and I guess I'm gonna start some metal work in the meantime.
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, all in all, happy with what you found so far?
Yeah, I mean, I did cry 3 times today, but it wasn't
Today.
Today. This afternoon. But it wasn't because of the car per se.
It was because I'm annoying.
I remain as enthusiastic as I was at the outset with getting this car. You know, I've got my list. I kind of have an idea of what the next 15 years will be like before I get it running.
Before you get it running.
Yeah.
Not even on the road and driving, simply running. Maybe even off a key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a lot of research to do too. I have research to do on the semaphores, the mechanism, the wiring, that sort of thing. We were talking about deleting the turn signal lights, which I think I'd like to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, hunting for random parts also.
And sheet metal-y bits.
Sheet metal-y bits, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start stealing street signs in my neighborhood.
License plates are
Kidding.
die. License plates are die. Street
Yeah,
signs would
I'm
be
not
better.
putting any license plates on my car.
You do have to register it.
I will. Okay, fine. not as sheet metal.
All right. Well, until the next one, I suppose. Yeah.